Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Esquire Coaching Radio, where we help attorneys achieve unparalleled personal and professional success. And now here's your host, Ann Jenrette Thomas.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Esquire Coaching Radio Show. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you tonight. As you know, Esquire Coaching is a national coaching and consulting firm that's dedicated to helping lawyers achieve extraordinary whole life success. And to that end, we discuss a full range of topics on this show, from business building to getting a job to work-life balance and everything in between. Today we have a very special guest who's going to talk to us about a mission-driven law firm. So many people go to law school with hopes and dreams of making a difference in this world, whether it's fighting for civil rights or making sure that people get a fair transaction during a divorce or a real estate transaction, or ensuring that the justice system lives up to its name. Most lawyers enter the profession with a mission in mind. Yet once you start practicing, what happens to that mission? Is it possible to find that mission once you've lost it? And can you go and hang a shingle and still have a mission-driven law firm? Well, to answer these questions, we'll hear from someone who's done it. Genavieve Shingle is an entrepreneur and a lawyer. She recently started her own legal practice called Genavieve Shingle Law as the affordable lawyer for small businesses and entrepreneurs. She provides you with the tools to protect your business while sprinkling in a little love. Growing up, she was a nationally competitive gymnast for 15 years, competing in the Junior Olympics. She then earned a full scholarship to compete for Penn State. After college, she moved to the Big Apple and shortly thereafter started law school. In rare moments when she isn't working, Genavieve loves yoga, reading, and seeing Broadway shows. Genavieve, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that we are talking about this really important topic because, frankly, we need to talk about it. So before I dive in, I just want to remind our callers that there will be time at the end of this interview to ask Genavieve any questions you have. So just call in the line 347-838-8719 and press 1 to get in the queue. I'll repeat that number later. All right, so let's dive in, Genavieve. Tell us a little bit about your career path. Tell us about what made this transition to starting your own practice.
Yeah, so I never had the intention of doing it. I always had the intention of helping people ever since I was little. And when I went to law school, I had the same intention, but I thought that I would do it by working in criminal law. And then as I went through law school, I really kind of fell in love with corporate law. So after law school, I worked at a corporate firm. And I got a little sidetracked by the money, and then just really felt very disconnected to my soul and kind of my purpose. And my girlfriend's an entrepreneur, and so I was kind of thrown into this whole entrepreneurial world of these young women who were starting their own businesses, and I thought it was so amazing and inspiring. And they all kept coming to me saying, look, we need a lawyer, like, do you do any contracts or stuff like that? And exactly what I was doing in my job. I did, all transactional work. And, I just noted that there was just such a huge void in the accessibility to an affordable lawyer for these, these young women, small businesses who are just starting out, who can't afford big firm prices. And so it just kind of, felt right, and I made that leap to fill that void.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so, I think your story is something that we commonly hear. A lot of people go into law school and they have a desire to help people, but then, like you said, sometimes you get distracted by the money. What was that turning point for you when you were like, you know what, it's gnawing at me? What was that turning point for you?
So I'd been unhappy for a while. I mean, I was working all the time, and I just was kind of mentally and emotionally drained. And then I got really sick last fall, And it was because I wasn't listening to my body and knowing that I was just so exhausted and I was just pushing myself because I was working full time and also just starting my own business, a different business, and I wasn't sleeping as much, and I got really sick and had to miss 3 days of work, which in like the legal world is kind of like unheard of. And it just dawned on me. I was like, you know what? It's now affecting me physically. It's affecting my health. You know, I can't do it anymore, and I don't want to finally live my life when I'm 60 or 70 when I can be doing it now.
I love that. So it sounded like a combination of just the exhaustion plus you having to listen to your body, which was trying to break down on you.
Right. Right, and then kind of, you know, being very blessed with kind of meeting all these people who were like, we need you, you know, just kind of knowing that there was an audience out there who could, you know, use my services and that I could actually help people and feel good about the work that I was doing.
I love it. So what do you hope to achieve with your firm?
Yeah, so I'm just hoping to kind of work with, and I've been very lucky, you know, kind of young women entrepreneurs, you know, in the LGBT community. Those are kind of two target areas that are just not really marketed to. You know, they're just kind of, you know, people who write newsletters the most, and just the accessibility just isn't there. So I'm trying to, you know, I have flat rates only. I don't charge hourly fees. So I try to be very transparent in everything that I'm doing and make law not so scary. You know, I break everything down and explain it in, you know, terms that are easy to follow. And you know, my hope is that, you know, I will work with some bigger companies someday, but there will always be a part of my firm that will always be very accessible to kind of those who are just starting out.
You know, I'm really, it's funny because we haven't even gotten to the mission part of this conversation yet, but it's coming out so clearly in what you've articulated so far that, anyway, let's dive into that. What does it mean to create a mission-driven law firm?
I mean, it's a purpose for getting up every day and for doing what you're doing. You know, just to really feel that you are using the gifts that you've been given and helping those that you really want to help. And regardless of what your ideal client is or whatever your target market is, you know, you're meant to help and serve those people. And for me, it just happens to be in, you know, the demographics that I'm a part of. You know, being like a young female entrepreneur and those in the LGBT community. And because I am in, you know, those two demographics, like I see and I know that, you know, no one's really marketing to us. And so there's, you know, there's a lot of, first of all, there's a lot of business to be had, but also a lot of people that really need the help. So it is great. It's amazing. It's inspiring. My clients inspire me all the time because they're just, you know, just so driven and so passionate about what they're doing. And I think it's so beautiful and amazing to be able to do what you love. And I've like really kind of found my love for law again.
Did you lose it for a little while? Your love for law?
Yeah, totally. It was very, I mean, you know, when you're kind of just like working, you know, in an office all by yourself, 12 hours a day, you kind of just feel robotic a bit. And, you know, you're just one little part of the assembly line that I didn't really feel like I was doing a whole lot of law. I mean, corporate law is very businessy. It's very business transaction-y. And, you know, I'm still doing that type of work, but I make all of the decisions. And, you know, I touch every piece of what I give to my clients. So it feels a lot better. And I just feel like I'm being useful, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And so what advice would you have for, you know, maybe another solo, maybe somebody contemplating going out on their own, or a partner of a firm who wants to create a mission-driven law firm? What advice do you have about how to discover what your mission is?
Yeah. I'm a very spiritual person, so I love yoga and I meditate and I do like the different tapping techniques and stuff like that. And I journal. So for me, that's kind of how I get in touch with myself and kind of have like, you know, time alone and time with me, and just to kind of, you know, get in touch with myself and kind of like what I want and what I need. So it's kind of like wherever you feel the most you, whether it's going running or riding a bike or taking a bubble bath, or wherever you can get to a place where you feel just very connected to yourself, you know, do that and just kind of really, you know, think about like, what is it that you really want to do? Who do you want to help? Where do you feel that you could have the most impact on someone else? And really just take it out of yourself. Like, don't be focused on you. Focus on the other people. And, you know, kind of like helping others, you're helping yourself. And, you know, for my you know, girlfriend and I, we kind of have this, like, this motto of, you know, generosity meets abundance. So we like to give, and then you receive. And I think it's just a better way of living and thinking than, like, what can this person do for me? Instead, just kind of have a reframe of what can I do for someone else. And, you know, so for me, whenever I'm, you know, doing yoga, I just get very calm and very clear on what my next steps are. And, you know, before you make any big leap or any big decision, you know, it's so important to be crystal clear on what that is so that you're not taking too many detours on your way to get to the ultimate destination where you're supposed to be.
I love that. And I want to thank you for being so honest about your spirituality. I think, you know, it's funny how in some ways I think within the legal profession, that's where people are closeted, you know.
Oh my God,
right? And yet this is part of the reason why, you know, I founded Esquire and we have a business model the way that we do, is because I really believe that if you want to be successful wholly, like your personal life, your health, your well-being, plus your career, then you need to figure out some way to get centered, whether that's spiritually or personally or something. So I'm so glad that you acknowledged that and you essentially came out of the closet about that.
And so many coming out.
I know, right? I love it. Okay, so what is specifically the mission of your particular law firm? I think we've gotten bits of it, but I want to hear what it specifically is.
Yeah, so the mission is to fill the void that I saw, you know, being accessible and affordable to young female entrepreneurs specifically and those in the LGBT community, really just being there to serve them in a way that they haven't really been able to serve before. Like I said, all of my services are flat rate, so that, you know, the fees are completely transparent. There's nothing that's hidden or, you know, surprised on at the end. And I offer kind of different levels of working with me so that I really can fully service kind of everyone, wherever they're starting out. You know, things start at $100. You know, if you can't afford, you know, $250 for me to draft a certain contract, then you know, I've come up with other ways that I'm really able to. I want law to be accessible. I want it to be something that people aren't so scared of. I guess I'm really just trying to change the face of lawyers and law firms and just taking that negative stigma to show that lawyers are really there to help people. I mean, our job is to protect. And so I'm trying to act as, you know, a little bit of a bodyguard for your business. And, you know, your business is your baby. It's something that you create and that you're so passionate about. And a lawyer really is there to help you protect your baby.
Oh my goodness, that is so powerful and radically different than the traditional model of law. So let's talk a little bit about this. How does a mission-driven firm differ, in your opinion, from the traditional model?
Money is not in my top three things that I think about when I'm planning my day or when I'm planning my program. It's not about money. It's not about hours at all. Some days I work 30 minutes. Some days I work 14 hours. You know, it's just like you said, very mission driven. It's about why I'm here, why I'm doing it, how can I help people. I'm coming up with different creative ways to do that. It's your straight up marketing of, oh, hey, we're a law firm, we do this. It's kind of like I'm saying, oh, hey, I really want to help you protect your business. I'm going to hold your hand every step of the way. Oh, and I happen to be a lawyer. I think of it more as, right, and I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own law practice. I have another business as well, but still, if you have your own law practice, you are an entrepreneur. So kind of trying to just reframe and saying, okay, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur too. I get it. But I just have to be a lawyer. Like I said, I'm just really trying to talk to people differently. I explain to them that, having contracts in place is like insurance. I think it's just very different from where I was, the environment that I was in, because, we didn't have to go out and really look for clients. The firm had been around for a really long time and, was serving such a different type of client that, where money's not an issue, where they're doing huge international deals, stuff like that. For me, it's just me, and I'm out there, like, trying to find who needs the most help and how can I help you get your business started and protect it, and just kind of coming up with different ways to make sure that you can afford it as well. I think of my business as more like coaching. I'm coming up with a program. Like what lawyer has a program? Well, I'm trying to come up with one. Just something different. I really utilize social media, which I know that other firms are really starting to pick up on that now too. But I'm the only practice that I know of right now that's merging law and love, because it's just very me, and because it is my business, and because it's my name and it's who I am. And my website is all pink because I love pink. So it just really made it me.
Wow, that's so. It's funny because I'm trying to absorb all of this, and I'm comparing in my head, and I'm sure our listeners are doing this too. You think of a typical law firm website. We'll see blue, we'll see people in suits, the traditional model, and then what you just said is so different. You're merging law and love. You are bringing all of who you are to the table. And I think this is something that I see, especially within the larger law firm culture with associates and junior partners who sometimes check themselves at the door before walking into the law firm. Where maybe they don't feel comfortable being fully who they are, whatever that means. That feels like, oh, I can't be me. And here what I'm hearing you say is, first of all, you sound joyful. You sound like someone, well, when, we're about to come out with the Happy Law Practice book, which I know you did a review for, but think about it. That is the opposite of what we hear in our culture, right? Like, we hear that lawyers are unhappy, that they are miserable, that they're working too hard. And to hear your joy come through on this interview, I mean, that's amazing. That's the power of a mission-driven law firm, people.
Yeah.
I love it. This is amazing. So, you know what, let me remind our listeners, if you have a question that you want to ask Genevieve about anything that's related to how to start your own firm or what it means to, start a mission-driven firm, feel free to join the queue. That's 347-838-8719. That's 347-838-8719, and press 1 to get in line. All right, Genevieve, so while I'm monitoring the lines, let me ask you a few more questions. So talk to us a little bit about who are your ideal clients?
Yeah, so I work mostly with coaches. So I work with a lot of business coaches, life coaches, health coaches, so those kind of in the wellness arena. And then I also work with people who are just like not so much into like corporate. But I have different types of clients. When I was first starting out, I was just like, kind of, oh yeah, totally work with that, I'll work with that, and ended up in landlord-tenant like housing court, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that. So it was kind of like a game for me, and trying to really figure out who my ideal clients are, and saying no to some things. So, you know, I love people who have their own coaching business, and, you know, a lot of the people that I work with also are servicing, you know, like the female entrepreneurs and, you know, really trying to help people grow their own business. But I have started to work a little bit more with people who have more established businesses, and for me, it's great because then they kind of are helping me really fund the practice and really being able to help out other people. They started selling templates that I created, mostly based in the coaching world, so stuff that they really need, you know, when they're starting up, and that's how they're like very affordable. You know, they come with instructions and everything that you need. Because I have had some people say that, you know, $250 just isn't in their budget right now. And I was like, oh man, I thought that was like really affordable. That's what I billed out hourly, you know, at my other firm the first year. So I had to kind of come up with some creative ways to make sure that those people were still protected, and that I was being able to like provide them law services. So yeah, so my clients, they kind of range in the years they've been in business, and a lot of them are in their first 2 years. I do have some startups, and I have some that are quite established. I've been, you know, just introduced to so many amazing people as I've now been, you know, out on my own for a little while now.
So one thing that I'm sure some of our listeners might be curious about is, I think there is this notion that if you follow your heart, if you, you know, do something that's mission-driven instead of the traditional model, that basically you'll be broke. What advice or statements do you have related to that issue?
Yeah, that used to be me, definitely. I used to think the same thing. I was always very structured, very, you know, well, this is the way the world works. You get a job, you get the benefits, you get whatever. So before I ventured out on my own, you know, I had savings and was able to, you know, use the money there to get the law, to get, like, you know, my website up, to, you know, get all the things that I needed in place and get all my ducks in a row before I started. Now, did I need to spend all of the money that I did? Absolutely not. I didn't need to, you know, hire a designer and a developer for my website right away. I didn't have to, you know, use the certain tools that I did. I chose to do that. You know, my girlfriend is an entrepreneur, and she started her company with $25. You know, it's just it really depends on how comfortable you are with you know, that uncertainty of when your next paycheck is coming from. Or like how fancy you want your business to be in the very beginning. It's definitely something that I've had to learn that, you know, it comes in ebbs and flows, the money, but I don't think that it's because I have a mission-driven business at all. It's just the nature of, you know, being an entrepreneur. But I think that when you're doing something that you're so passionate about and you love, you don't mind working, and so it doesn't feel like working. And so you really are just kind of living in your joy, and you're making money doing that. So it doesn't feel so much like you're working, and that, you know, you're kind of like really just, you know, fighting tooth and nail to get by. You're not, you know, the money comes when you need it, and you really just have to believe that you can, or there'll be like kind of a barrier that's going to, you know, prevent your business from growing. I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Well, no, I think you've actually answered it more than what I just asked. But I think part of what I also want to emphasize for our listeners, because I know you, Genevieve, I really believe that because you're mission driven, you've actually been able to attract business that may not have otherwise come. Maybe, you know, not only come to you, but some people that would have probably shied away from, you know, legal work altogether.
Totally.
I feel like you've tapped into a different market just because you're authentic, you know?
Thanks. Yeah. No, it's definitely, I think, because I'm me. You know, and I'm sure that people don't work with me because I'm who I am and I show my personality, and that's totally fine because those aren't my ideal clients anyway. So I think that, you know, when you put yourself out there, you know, you really do attract the exact people you're supposed to be working with. And you have to be okay with failure. You know, I've had people not hire me. And, you know, at first it's kind of like, what did I do wrong? Like, I could totally help them, But, you know, then something comes around the corner and it's like, oh my goodness, I wasn't even looking for that. And it was something amazing. And, you know, you just have to really put yourself out there. I'm just really not shy. I'll talk to anyone. And, you know, I have coaches that I work with, you know, and they've been very instrumental in, you know, changing not only my business but also my life. And being able to have a life while being a lawyer and having my own business is something I didn't even realize was a possibility.
Absolutely, and we wholeheartedly believe in that. So, you know what? Obviously, right? I mean, we run Esquire Coaching. So. You know, one thing that I know exactly. I love it. So, you know, one thing that I wanted to also just ask you is, what advice would you have? Because, you know, it's great that you are able to hang your own shingle and get out there and do this for yourself. But there are a lot of folks who don't feel ready, or maybe it might be too risky, or just not them to own their own business. So they're still within a law firm setting. How can someone cultivate this mission-driven attitude, even if they're working for somebody else? Do you have any thoughts or advice on that?
Totally. I think that, yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. And I respect that for sure. But when you're a lawyer and you're working in a firm, I mean, you're also an entrepreneur yourself because, you know, lawyers have to build their own practice and, you know, go and get their own clients and bring them in. And maybe you are passionate about working with a certain group of people. And so maybe that can become your niche, and that's your specialty in that firm. You know, having your own client base and having them be people who are really your ideal client. And then, you know, you do have a purpose for coming to work every day. Maybe you don't even have to come in at 9 in the morning because maybe your clients are, you know, in the music industry and they stay up all night. So you don't have to go to work as early. You know, something like that where you really find like a specific little niche in law, or you find a specific, you know, kind of group of people that you really want to work with, and you decide you want to be in a firm. You like that structure. You like, you know, stability. I totally get that. So you just kind of create your own business within that firm, and the firm's going to love that because they're going to get money as well. So, and they want happy, you know, they want people who are happy and passionate and that are working hard. So if you can find something that you really love to do or people you really love to work with, it's going to show in your work and it's going to show in the environment where you are.
Perfect. That is exactly how, you know, I couldn't agree with you more. I really believe in this concept of every attorney thinking like an entrepreneur. I like calling it lawpreneurs, you know, that if you can start adopting that mindset, right, that mindset that you are responsible for what you're creating, your book of business, your clients, getting out there, that's going to make a huge impact on how everybody else starts treating you, even within a law firm environment. So that's just perfect advice. I love it. So, you're not going to believe it, but we are out of time. How can our listeners reach you if they have any questions or they want to, you know, have your services or anything like that? How can they reach you?
Yeah, so my website is GenevieveShingle.com, and that's GENAVE as in Victor, IEVE, and then on Facebook it's Genavieve Shingle Law. And you can feel free to email me, my contact info is on there. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, thank you so much. You have been such a wonderful inspiration for everyone about starting your own mission-driven law firm.
Thanks for having me in.
Sure. So, folks, Let's keep the conversation going. Join us on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn and tell us what you think. What's your mission? Would you dare and create a firm that's mission-driven? Tell us what you think. You can find all our links on www.esquirecoaching.com. And next week, we'll hear from John Ogden about working with in-house counsel. Until then, take care.